Hello everyone and welcome back to SPADE EMS YouTube channel. And I hope you all are enjoying all the sessions and very much. And you know that we are doing this kind of session from the International Yoga Day, that is from 21st of June. So today is the last day and today the last session. And you all know the famous quote that is last but not the least. And today the guest, the speaker that is going to be with us is Acharya Bramdeo sir. So Acharya Bramdeo sir is very much experienced in all the things that you are going to know about yoga, that how you can apply yoga in your daily life, the applications of yoga in your daily life, that will going to be today's topic. And sir is very much experienced. Sir write a lot number of articles and books on numerous topics of yoga. So hope that you will like all kind of the knowledges that sir is going to be provided in this session. And I know one thing, that you support us very well. And thank you very much to all of you for this kind of support that you have shown to us. That including all the sessions, we have gained more than 8 to 9 thousand views on the different sessions. So thank you very much, everyone, and I hope that we will continue this session in the coming future. And this can never happen without you. So thank you very much, everyone, and to my team. Thank you very much, Team Spade, that you work so hard, each and every member, that you work so hard in this event, that you made this event successful, and you made yoga the pathway to inner peace. This kind of event is like a truly remembered event that is going to be remembered not only by me, but all of the speakers, all of the viewers, or even our university, that Spade had conducted a 10-day yoga session in which they have brought many speakers from from different parts of the world, and teach world that what are the importance of yoga and how you can get inner peace through yoga. So thank you very much, everyone. Thank you very much to Team Spade providing me the opportunity to have a conversation, direct conversation with all the audience. And yes, one more thing, today's topic will be going to be applications of yoga in your day-to-day life. So we hope that you will apply all the knowledge that you gained in the last 10 days in the, and today is the 11th session. So please, it's my request to all of you that please uh, do one thing, just keep on, just don't leave it here, just apply, keep on applying this thing in your life. And please try to inculcate some good habits in this kind of situation. So please uh, apply yoga, inculcate yoga, do yoga daily in your life, into your day-to-day life. And I hope that we will bring more sessions, more these kind of sessions in the coming future. And for this, you have to be keep on updating yourself on our social media profile. So please subscribe our channel, like, comment, and please share these kind of sessions and the videos that we post on our YouTube channel. Please share with your loved one, because these are the sessions which are very much rich in the knowledge as well as in the information that it going to get not nowhere in the world. You have to read many books, you have to read many articles, but here as a form of video, as a direct conversation in which you can ask your question. Yes, you can put your question on the in the comment section. We'll take the question and sir will answer it the last. So please, it's my humble request to all of you. Please try to be more engaged in these kind of session, or any session in this happening in YouTube or anywhere else. Please try to, and we are bringing some more greater news for some more bigger events for you in the coming time. So please keep on please follow us on our different social media platform. That is our Instagram, that is our Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and of course here it is. You can also subscribe the channel, that is Spade EMS YouTube channel. So please. Thank you very much for the support, and from all the team Spade, from all the members. Thank you very much to all the speakers for coming and giving the so much information. And thank you everyone for giving so much information to us. And yes, I will not take a lot of time. I know that you all are waiting for Acharya Bramdeo sir. So please, sir, I hope that audience is ready for you. And the Everyone is set, the audience is set, the condition is set, and it's the perfect way to start a new beginning. That yes, I always say this is not the end of the event. This is the start of a new phase that Spade has done in this pandemic time. The 10 days event, 10-day long event, and yes, we have successfully conducted each and every event. Yes, there are some technical problems happens. Yes, it happens as today we started late, but no problem. Speed is always known for their team, for their support that we get from the team. So thank you very much, all of the team members again. And Sir Acharya Bramdeo, sir, I request that sir will come live within few seconds. And this is Rishabh Kumar. So thank you very much for joining in this, and hope you like this session. And thank you very much. So I request sir, you can continue, sir. Thank you very much.
So, welcome everybody. Today's session, Yoga, the pathway to inner peace. So, let's look. The origin of the word yoga is from the Veda, and I'll take only one place. There are so many places where it's mentioned. It starts with Om Yunjana Prathamam Manastattvaya Savita Dhiya Agnir Jyoti Nichaya Prithivya Adhya Bharat. So the word is yuj. Yuj means to link and to yoke, to bind. What do we link? We link ourselves, the mind, body, and spirit. We link the self, the inner self, with the matter and the supreme being. And this is the pathway. This mantra says, he who desires bliss, both material as well as spiritual bliss, he has to know three things. The self, that is the inner self, which we call the soul or the jiv or atma. Then matter, which is called prakriti, and that is also in the primordial form, which then evolves to make the whole of this creation, the universe, and then the supreme being. And for that, we need to be aware, we need to be conscious that the five senses of perception enables us to know the universe as it is. But to go deeper into that, we have to use, as we say, the sixth sense of perception, which is the man. And man within yoga, it's interchangeable between buddhi and chit. But I would go on what Maharshi Patanjali explains on yoga is yoga chitta vritti nirodha, silencing the flux of mental and emotional activities. I always combine mental and emotional activities. And when we learn to silence that, then we'll be able to delve into ourselves, know that this whole world which is around us, it may gives us pleasure temporarily for a short while, and that also till there's life in this body, and after that, nothing. And then know the Supreme Self. So that man leads us to know the depth of it. If we want to use yoga as a pathway to inner peace, once we've understood what is the objective of yoga, let's go on the goals of human life. I won't go into the depth of dharma, artha, kama, moksha, mukti, and the final objective of human life. I'll just put it in simple terms. Some would say to be successful, some would say to be rich, some would say to be famous, But Maharshi Patanjali puts it there, दुखों से छूटना और सुख की प्राप्ति करना. So stay away from pains and sufferings and then be happy. So that's one way of looking at the objective of life. And how? Because yoga is the time proven philosophy to attain that goal of human life. Maharishi Patanjali says, to know that how you can stay away from pains and sufferings and be happy in life, it gives one formula. Hey Hetu Han Upai. If you know the knowledge, you have full knowledge of the causes of pains and sufferings, then you can avert those causes, adopt the principles to be happy, and grow in life. Yoga enables us to unfold the potential. Sattvic Dhyan, which we say true knowledge, then that will translate into Sattvic Vichar, the finest of thoughts, Sattvic Vani, the finest of words, and Sattvic Karma, the finest of actions. For that we need Shuddha Dhyan to be able to do Shuddha Karma and Shuddha Upasana. So Maharshi Patanjali gives the way it says, Yogash Chitta Vritti Nirodha. If I can put it in a common language, it's taming the monkey mind. Taming the monkey mind, training ourselves to give a pause between our thoughts and our words, and between our thoughts, our words, and our physical actions. Because when we give a pause between our thoughts and our words, then we are able to think probably twice or thrice and be careful in whatever words we express. And another pause that will translate into the best of actions that we can do. And when we face that, we won't face the grudge or the brunt of others. Because those moments of silence which we'll give in between our thoughts and our words and our deeds, it's probably 2-3 seconds, or at the most 5 seconds, which the other party doesn't notice. So Maharshi Patanjali also gives. It says, Tasya api nirodha sarva nirodhat nirbija samadhi. So at the final level of Ashtanga Yoga, Yama, Niyama, Asan, Pranayam, Pratyahara, Asan, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyan, and Samadhi, we go on that basis. The last part is Samadhi Nirbij, where we are Vichar Shunya, zero thoughts. But then let's look at how he defines yoga. If we go to the sadhan path, the second part of the Yoga Darshan, he defines in the first aphorism, the first sutra, Kriya Yoga. He says, Tapa Swadhyaya Ishwar Pranidhana Kriya Yoga. So it says Tapa. We should be able to develop resilience by facing some degree of hostility. जैसे कहते हैं ना, थोड़ा सा भूख प्यास, थोड़ा सा गर्मी सर्दी अगर हम सहन करने लगेंगे तो हम अपने अंदर में इतने शक्ति प्राप्त करेंगे कि जब हमारे सामने प्रतिकूल स्थितियां आएंगे तो उसका सामना करना, उससे ऊपर निकलना कोई कठिन काम नहीं है. So we develop process tapa swadhyay. Swadhyay is the study of the scriptures, study of truthful knowledge, just to get that divine inspiration and train ourselves to listen to our inner voice, जिसको हम अंतरात्मा बोलते हैं. And when we learn to listen to that inner voice, which we can say, in other words, it's the divine guidance, then we'll be able to surrender to that third part, Ishvara Pranidhana, and that is Kriya Yoga, yoga in practice. And for that, one essential part is to start by the basics. Yama, Niyama. Ahimsa, Satya, Asteya, Brahmacharya, Parigraha, Sauch, Santosh, Tapas, Swadhyaya, Ishvara Pranidhana. And we should see that the niyama, which are the yama, which are the social discipline, the tenets of social discipline, and the niyama, which are the tenets of personal discipline, we can say are the do's and don'ts. So the don'ts are hinsa nahi karna, that is ahimsa ka palan karna, observe non-violence. Satya, don't lie and be truthful. Asteya, don't steal, be honest. Brahmacharya, don't let yourself be swayed by temperaments, exercise control. And for that, we need training. We need to canalize our body energy to positive actions, positive thoughts, positive actions. So it's self-control and be level-headed, and at the same time, use our body energy to positive causes. And then engage in useful studies. So it's ahimsa, satya, asteya, brahmacharya, aparigraha. Don't keep superfluous things in life. So we just, if we content ourselves with the essential, दुनिया में इतनी भाग दौड़ नहीं करना चाहिए to be happy. Look, today's world, we are running across, we are earning big money, still we are not satisfied. And till we are not satisfied, we are still chasing, and we don't have the time to look at ourselves, at our relatives, at our friends, and at society at large. So it's the rat race. So aparigraha, I remember, I think 2013 was the small island developing states conference in Mauritius. And then Secretary General of UN said one thing here in this conference. The world is living as if we have spare resources and another planet Earth by our side. When resources are finished there, we can just jump there and take them from there and bring it here. So it shows this aberrance of society going skewed on consumerism. So we need that balance in life. And if we need that balance in life, we'll be able to live with the essentials. And probably this pandemic, there are so many things to learn with that. The pandemic of COVID-19 showed us to come back to nature, live in harmony with nature, live in harmony with the human aspects of life, and live with the essentials, drop the superfluous. And then, so the yamas, niyamas, Sauch, Santosh, Tapas, Swadhyaya, Ishvara Pranidhana. Sauch means purity. It's not only cleanliness outside, having a bath, putting good, nice clothes, doing the makeup or the grooming and everything. No. It also involves internal cleanliness. Purity of thoughts, purity in words, purity in physical actions. And this is the most appreciated part of life. We may for one day seem to be the odd man out, but when people get used to that simple form of life, and without, as we say, the trumpets, then people will start appreciating us as a role model, and then that will bring more harmony within society. And in the third chapter of the Yoga Darshan, Maharshi Patanjali says, he puts the focus on dharana. This is the Vibhuti Pad or the Siddhi Pad. It says in the first sutra, Desh Bandha Chitta Dharana. Learn to be focused. And when do we learn to be focused? If we only learn to live yama and niyama on 3 levels, on the level of our thoughts, on our level of our words, because I say words, not only speech, but expressed. There's so many ways we express ourselves nowadays: social media, writing text messages, sending voicemails, videos, etc. So all these are ways to express, and physical actions. But then remember, our actions are not limited to that. Our actions also into what we do personally, that we are responsible for personally. Second, the first one is krit, personal actions. Then there's karit, which we cause others to do by sharing ideas, by sharing opinions, by sharing views, or perhaps exercising pressure, as we say, peer pressure, especially in the age group where people are student life. This is where we are subject to most peer pressure. And if we are ethical in that, we won't go on the wrong side. The peer pressure will be always to bring more positivity in life. So that is karit. And then there's anumodit, where we give our consent. And remember, consent may be either expressed or silent. So if we are there, personal responsibility for our thoughts, our words, and our actions, personal responsibility for what we do personally, what we cause to be done by others, or where we give our consent. If we're clean on these bases, then I think we'll bring more peace to ourselves. We'll be peaceful with our inner self, because the inner voice, the divine guide, will be in harmony with ourselves, and the harmony would be at the level of manasa, vacha, and karmana, man se, vani se, or sharir se. When that is harmonious, we'll just be increasing our level of inner peace, and the level of probably turbulence in our life will stay the same. But when the level of inner peace rises, it doesn't allow, it suppresses all the turbulence, and will start living a life which we say with increased, augmented bliss, happiness. So this is where yoga leads. Then let's see how we can bring this into practice and life. As I said, I took the issue of dharana, focus. So some people will put the questions to me, oh, मेरा तो ध्यान बैठता नहीं है कभी, ध्यान तो जैसे कहते हैं ना, बंदर की तरह छटकते रहती है. So how do we go about things? Remember, at the first time when we sit down for dhyan or we try to be silent, there's always, as we say, that sanskar, the previous imprints, the habits which crops up in front of us. And when we close our eyes and try to be focused, this is where it starts running. But if we let it go, let it flow, don't resist, let it flow. And when it's flown out, then we start enjoying the moments of silence. So the Yoga Sutra of Patanjali leads us to that. He says, Sato Dirkale Nairantarya Satkara Sivito Drer Bhumi. Whatever you want to achieve in life, use this sutra. Probably when you start working, you'll go to continuous development programs, CDP courses, and then you'll learn it there. But it's in our yoga philosophy. It says, Dirkal. Whatever practice you want to achieve, you have to spend long time practicing that. Dirkale. Then it says Nairantarya, you have to be constant in your practice. And then Satkara Sevito, you have to be passionate, dedicated in whatever you want to achieve. That was the goals. So what he says, Maharshi Patanjali, applies into whatever we do in life. Be it studies, be it sports, be it cooking food, being cleaning the house, being learning to drive, or being coaching others. All spheres of life that we imagine, even that व्यक्ति जो चोरी करने के लिए निकलता है, first time he's doubtful, but then he perfects himself, but eventually he'll be caught one day. But then look, he's applying that. So for we people doing good things in life, why should we leave it away and then wait when we grow up, when we are in the working life, then other people will teach the same thing to us? No. So it says, whatever practice we want to achieve, look at the Olympics. Those athletes are practicing for 4 years. And most of the races like sprint or swimming, 100 meters, 200 meters, 400 meters, it's a matter of 10 seconds, 20 seconds, 40 seconds, not even 1 minute. They practice morning, afternoon, evening, 365 days a year, and over 4 years to run the race for 10 seconds, 20 seconds, and win the medal. So it's the same thing applies in life. Those who've tried cooking, the first time we started cooking, probably the rice was either bluish or it was a bit hard. रोटी जो है वो पूरा गोल नहीं बेला गया था, कड़क बन गया. We had to practice 10 times, 20 times, and then got it right. And now when we set everything, we know it will go right, because in due time we'll attend to that. जैसे रोटी practice करते करते फिर आंखें बंद करके भी बेलेंगे तो वो पूरा गोल होगा. And the first time we made the map of Australia, the map of Japan, the map of Europe, things like that. So this is where yoga leads us. And yoga tells us, nurture the roots. This is what it is saying. Satudar kale nairantar satkara savito bhumi. Nurture the roots. And Yam Niyam is telling us to be true human beings, control our thoughts, control our speech, our words, and control our physical actions. So yoga is leading us to a paradigm shift from the society where we think of ourselves as human being, social animals. Yoga says, no, you are not animal, you are a social being. Because when you think of animal, those animalistic attitude just comes to the surface. But when I say you are a human being, not only by form or by species, but you are a human being by gun, karma, swabhav. Character, by your deeds, and by your nature. So it's a question of a paradigm shift in attitudes. And for that, we need to overcome the hurdles. Yogs tell us to lead the way for peace, progress, and prosperity. Sukh, Shanti, or Samriddhi. So for that, we should know the types of pains and sufferings also. It says, Adhyatmic Dukh, Adidaivik Dukh, and Adibhautik Dukh. Adhyatmic Dukh, those for which we are ourselves the reason. Galat kha liya, galat pe liya, swasthya kharab ho gaya. Yeah, we've not gone according to our routine. समय पे नहीं सोए, समय पे व्यायाम नहीं किए, समय पे उठे नहीं, समय पे खाए नहीं, then our health goes bad. So that is Adhyatmic Dukh. Then Adidaivik Dukh, I take Adibhautik Dukh. Adibhautik Dukh, second type, is those caused by other living beings. किसी ने शैतानी की तो he's hurt me. He can hurt me emotionally or physically. या कोई बिल्ली ने कुत्ता ने काट दिया, सांप ने काट दिया. This is the world, and we have no control on the other forms of life or other people. So we have to be prepared. और जितने हम अपने आप को तपाएंगे, फिर का दुख कम होता जाएगा. Then the third one is Adidaivik Dukh. Adidaivik Dukh is things which are caused by natural calamities, floods, droughts, cyclones, tornadoes, earthquakes, etc. And we in this world, we are bound to suffer from that. So if we learn to accept them and learn the way how to go through them, and if we are hit by natural committees, how to work out our way to move out of it, then we'll be happy. So these are the three main causes of sufferings. But then yoga tells us there are other ways that we suffer. Sorry. Yoga tells us, the Yoga Sutra 2.03. It gives the reasons of pains and sufferings as avidya, asmita, raga, dvesh, abhinivesh. Avidya, ignorance, false knowledge, half-truth, all these are included in avidya. And you know the best of things? When we chant that prayer of Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya, we tend to associate it with lighting of the outer lamp. No, it's moving from the darkness of ignorance to the light of knowledge. This is where our focus should be. So avidya in itself is the absence of knowledge, true knowledge. It may be incorrect knowledge, it may be partial knowledge, and the other one, which is unknown, may be false, and the whole theory falls apart. Or it's illusion, जिसको हम माया कहते हैं, and it can be due to temporary things or unclear knowledge about real things. And that is bound to bring pains and sorrows because we don't know where we are going. Then the second thing is asmita, about this concept of ego, me, mine, and myself. You know, the three M which we refer to in management. Me, mine, and myself. And when I go on that, I forget that I live in society with my relatives, I live in society with friends, I live in society with the human community at large, with other living beings on whom we depend for our life. And when that sense of asmita takes over our mind, we forget to be respectful to the environment, to our relatives, to our friends, and this is bound to create sufferings. Then the other thing would be rag. जिस चीज में हम सुख प्राप्त करते हैं उसमें राग जरूर कहीं न कहीं शुरू हो जाता है. क्यों? क्योंकि the things which gives us pleasure, we tend to return to them for increased heightened level of pleasure. And when that thing ceases to give us pleasure, then फिर राग द्वेष में बदल जाता है. That inordinate attachment or addiction now shifts to aversion, and those create mental impressions, and from dvesh we are bound to suffer. Because the thing that was giving us pleasure has ceased to give us pleasure. It may be people also. And then that develops into hatred, and we start torturing ourselves mentally, and mentally goes on physically, and it will affect eventually all our environment, and we are finished. Then abhinivesh, we think of ourselves to be eternal, so we cling, like we find people clinging to chairs. He's become probably president, MP, or things like that. They tend to say, no, this is my chair, I can't leave it for others. But we should remember, one day we'll have to leave this place. So definitely we are not eternal. And by not giving space to others, we hurt others. And at the same time, we are hurting the future generation by not preparing the new generation to assert themselves in their responsibilities. So just know it, avidya, asmita, rag, dvesh, and abhinivesh. These are the 5 evils, as we say. And look at the reasons for that. It's always kam, krodha, lobha, moh. the tendency to indulge in sensual pleasures, calm, to get pleasure and pleasure and pleasure, and then we become addicted. Or lobe, greed, and then more fascination. So if we go on that concept of yama niyama, the do's and don'ts, the tenets of personal discipline and social discipline will be staying away from these things. We'll be staying away from, as far as possible, we'll do our utmost to stay away from adhyatmic dukh, because we'll have control over what we eat and not what we drink, and what is our schedule, what is our timetable. We won't go into abuse, into anything. We'll always be moderate in life that is going to bring us mental, moral, spiritual peace and good physical health. Then when we study scriptures and the good learnings and everything, we'll also be equilibrating our mental health. Then yoga gives us also, if it gives us the target, दुखों से छूटना और सुख की प्राप्ति करना, it's given us the cause, the way how to go about it. Be regular in your practice, practice over a long time, be dedicated, be passionate. But then we should also, yoga tells us, know the hurdles in life. And the 9 hurdles are vyadhi, styan, sanshay, pramad, alasya, avirati. Bhranti darshan, and it says alabdha bhuvikatvat anavasthitatva chitta vikshepa. These are the 9 hurdles. Vyadhi is physical imbalance. So practice of the asanas will bring you good physical health. Practice of jap, mantra jap or shabda jap, or practice to silence yourself will bring you mental balance. So this is one way of overcoming the first of them, which is vyadhi, physical imbalance. Then styan. Styan is playing truant. We know we have to practice that to achieve the objective, then we start procrastinating. What happens is that we say, okay, leave it now, we'll do it at some later time. So this is playing truant. So when we are regular in our practice, dedicated in our practice on the path of yoga, we'll never get into the tendency of procrastination or playing truant. Then sanshay, doubts. When we practice silencing ourselves, probably you'll remember the episode of Mahabharata when Arjun tells Krishna the Sarthi, put the chariot in the middle of the battlefield. Arjun was in doubt. So he wanted to see both sides and get the knowledge and know what to do. So that he adopted that period. Then Krishna told him, what do you want to do? He said, I have some doubts. He cleared the doubts. So when we have doubts, let's go to knowledgeable persons. Let's go to experienced people. Share our doubts and get good knowledge and clarify the situation, just as Arjun did. Then pramad. Pramad is irresponsible, unconcerned attitude. And if you look at the Mahabharata, irresponsible, unconcerned attitude, Duryodhana probably personifies that. He didn't think about the consequences. Then alasya. Alasya is little or no consideration to put up efforts. Then avirati is indulging in extravagance, like the world of today, going just consuming, not to please myself. लोग क्या कहेंगे इसलिए मुझे नए कपड़े पहनना है रोजाना. लोग क्या कहेंगे इसलिए जब नया मॉडल मोबाइल आता है मुझे चेंज करना है. Maybe हम क्या कर रहे हैं? Once we are abusing on the resources of the world, which is limited. Secondly, we are running our life to earn but then we are spending that precious earnings on futile matters. So yoga tells us, be careful in life, be moderate. It doesn't say you don't consume, but you be moderate. You have to use your own judgment. And then Bhranti Darshan. At times, if I just put you in a dark room and something, I just tie a rope from the ceiling and you go and just see something which is hanging there, आप क्या समझेंगे ये तो सांप है लटक रहा है, which is the rope. So Bhranti Darshan are things like that. जहाँ पर clear knowledge नहीं है, then we are lost. So this is the sixth hurdle. The seventh, Bhranti Darshan. Then Alabdha Bhumikatva. When we try for the first time, it's not necessary that we reach the goal. We reach probably halfway or 1/4 way or 1/3 of the way or even 3/4 of the way. But then we have to try and try again. Alabdha Bhumikatva means we are not putting the efforts again and again to reach that goal. Then the last one is Anavasthitatva. Once we've reached a goal, we don't keep the practice. We think, okay, we've reached our target. We don't need to practice. We'll always be attaining the target. And the next time when we do the things, we don't get the results, we are discouraged. So yoga teaches us we have to be careful, know the hurdles of life, and the symptoms of these hurdles are dukh, dormanasya, angame jayatva, shwas prashwas vikshepa sabhuva. This is the Yoga Sutra. It says dukh because we'll be unhappy, we'll be unfortunate, we'll think of ourselves being unfortunate. It's not being unfortunate, it's just not recognizing the hurdles, and not knowing the hurdles, then we don't know what is the way out to overcome the hurdles. So that is going to bring us grief. Dormanasya. Dormanasya means post-failure irritation. We've tried once, we've not reached the goal, we start getting irritated. Instead of canalizing our energy to try again and again, we get irritated. So that also we have to be careful. Then angame jayatva, shaking of the limbs. We start running into the panic mode, and from the panic mode, then we go bust. Then shwas prashwas vikshepa. That probably everybody has experienced and noticed the practical experience. सांस जल्दी चलने लगता है. You start gasping for breath. So if you know the hurdles, you know the symptoms, and once you get the symptoms, you just take control of the situation. Don't let yourself run with the flow. Rather, make the path of your flow. So this is yoga in the practical applications of life. Let's look at what happens in yoga, what yoga tells us in terms of behavioral patterns. This is also an essential point. You'll see yoga covers the physical part of it, the emotional part of it, the psychological part of it, the social part of it. It's a holistic approach to wellness, to inner peace. Yoga says, Maitre Karuna Mudita Upekshanam Punya Punya Vishayanam Bhavna Tashchitta Prasadanam. Maitri towards Punya. So be friendly with people who are good in life. Karuna, Maitri, Karuna Mudita. Maitri towards the Sukhi. सुखी व्यक्ति के प्रति आप मैत्री का भाव रखो. Then you won't fall into the prey of jealousy. You won't start burning yourself from the inside. When you're happy to see people happy, you develop the friendly attitude. Then what will happen is that you'll increase your level of happiness because you'll start learning what is happiness from others. Then karuna. दुखी व्यक्ति के प्रति आप करुणा का जो स्वभाव है वो अपनाएं. Just be compassionate. Be forgiving to those people who just irritate you or do things which are bad. And those who are suffering, be compassionate to them. Then mudita towards the punya, for those who are dharmic, for those who've gone on the spiritual path and are happy in life. They've progressed materially and spiritually in life. Towards these people, mudita, just be content and be happy to see such people. Then towards those who can't change, as we say, towards the wicked, towards the cruel, then adopt the attitude of upeksha. This is Yog Darshan in practice. Upeksha meaning indifferent. Like you're riding your bike, you're driving your car, so many things you see on the roadside, but then your target is there. So you be indifferent towards those because you have a target to reach the destination. So Yoga tells us the way, it leads the path to that. And you will see yama as niyama, the universal values, whether the person is white, brown, black, yellow, or as we say, Hindu, Christian, Muslim, or whatever faith to he belongs. He can't say, ahimsa is not for me. Non-violence is not for me. He can't say, satya is not for me. Being truthful is not for me. He can't say, not to steal is not for me. I have to steal. Yeah, you will find the exceptions in society. But then we'll see yama and niyama are the truly universal values in life. And I'll come with 3 words to make you happy. As we say, सामने वाले कुछ भी कहें, कुछ भी करें, just give the attitude. कोई बात नहीं. Let it go. Let it be. That will help you to keep your calm, to be peaceful with yourself and not blow hot and cold. And when the person in front of you sees that calm attitude with you, he may say, इससे बात करना फालतू है, मैं तो जाता हूँ. He will clear the way. Otherwise, if he gets more irritated, tell him, Ishwar nyay karega. If you think you're right, okay, take it, you're right, I'm right. I'll leave it in the hands of the divine justice. Because then when the law of karma operates, and Yoga talks a lot about karma, when the law of karma operates, then he will say, oh, पता नहीं मैंने क्या किया था जो अभी मैं भुगत रहा हूं. He forgets. But Yoga tells you to be mindful about what you are doing now. Because then when the law of karma operates, you won't be living to regret your past life. Yoga tells us to review our concepts. The concept of human life in terms of society is not only for consuming. Society is more to build humane relationships. It's not profit or loss maximization. Profit maximization and loss diminution or reduction in losses. It's increasing your happiness and decreasing your sorrows, your sufferings. And you see, one country in the world which measures growth in terms of happiness, well, on one and only country in the world is Bhutan. Otherwise, everybody is measuring in terms of GDP, and this is where we are suffering, because GDP doesn't take into account inner peace, inner satisfaction, and general level of human happiness. Yoga tells us to reboot our system, spring clean our hard drives, and then leapfrog into the new challenges of being truly humane in life, and not remain humans only by form, but be humane in life. Yoga is the holistic approach to wellness, physical, mental, moral, spiritual, and social happiness. Yoga is not a new knowledge. It's a millennial knowledge old, millennia old. Remember the Sankalp part which we do in our prayers? We say Eka Vrinda Shannavati Koti, etc., etc. It says it's 1.96 billion years old. It's as old as the knowledge of the Vedas because this is the source of the knowledge. Yoga is for increased awareness to connect the body, mind, and soul, to connect ourselves with others, with our friends, with our relatives, with society at large, with the universe, be it material or immaterial, be it the inanimate or conscious beings. And yoga eventually will lead us to self-realization, then realization that matters us till we are in life, and beyond that nothing goes with us. And yoga enables us to connect with the divine, with the supreme being, Ishvara God. योग tells us अपने मन की शांति के लिए, for your inner peace, अपने सुख की जो चाबी है ना, वो दूसरे के हाथ में नहीं देना. I have a car, if I give the key to someone who doesn't know driving, वो तो गड्ढे ही में जाएगा, he is going to crash. और साथ साथ मैं दुखी होऊंगा. तो अपने मन की शांति की चाबी जो है वो अपने पास रखो. This is what yoga empowers us to, by the precepts which I covered. Yoga tells us to be truly spiritual, something which goes beyond the understanding of religion. Because spirituality, yoga, when you start living yoga in day-to-day life, you'll be spiritual and you'll be living spirituality as spiritual reality in day-to-day life. And this is where you'll be able to grow on the path of inner peace, inner happiness. Because you know, happiness, pleasure from good food lasts till here, throat. Good drinks also last till here. Other things which gives us pleasure probably for an hour, for 2 hours, for 5 hours, and beyond that, we are back to square one. So yoga tells us life does not work for us unless we do the right things, unless we are regular in our practice, unless we are ethical in our practice. So yoga involves introspection. My humble request would be, before lying down in bed to sleep, let's sit down every day for 5 minutes maximum. Give time to ourselves, analyze our life, what have been the errors and omissions which we did and where we became unhappy. And from there, we'll take the resolution. We are not going to repeat the same mistakes. We are not going to repeat the same errors, the same omissions. We are going to improve. We are going to avoid them. Since we know the hurdles, we are going to avoid the hurdles and we're going on the right path. Yoga tells us also, look at 5 things which we did right during the day. And that forms part of Swadhyaya introspection, Atma Nirikshan. So when we've seen the 5 things which we did right, let's take a resolve, we'll do it better next time. We'll be improving our life. And we'll be improving our life from the point of view of our physical wellness, mental wellness, moral wellness, spiritual wellness, and that will at the end gives wellness at the level of society, because the smallest unit of society is the human being. This yoga tells us to identify ourselves like that. Yoga, remember, it's misconstrued to be linked with religion. Religion is practice of forms of worship, but yoga tells us to live spirituality as spiritual reality. It's the science of body, mind, and spirit. So it's a universal science. And it's the abstruse science because we can't see the practicals like we see in lab. This is for our personal experience. And yoga tells us to listen to the inner sounds of silence. So we remember Slumdog Millionaire, the film which got the Oscar at the international level. The sound engineer Rezu Polukati, when he was taking the award, he said one thing: hadn't I been enjoying the sounds of silence, I wouldn't have been creative and give you the music for which I am receiving the award. So that's one way of recognizing the importance of listening to the sound of silence, which yoga tells us. Yoga is for us to realize the prayer which we are used to do, Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya, not be restricted to the external light, but to the inner light, to unfold our potential. Yoga is more the work in rather than the workout. Because the focus today when we talk about yoga is more about the workout. Workout is good, but then we have to work in to balance mind, body, and spirit. Yoga tells us to learn from common, simple events. Just as I told you, koi baat nahi, leave it there, let it be. And this is the hardest part of what we need to do in life, so that we'll maintain equanimity. Yoga tells us, put a halt to the rush that we are running to daily, because that is what is that giving us nowadays? We're struggling to cool down at night and to sleep. And the pandemic was an occasion to teach us, stop the rush, connect to the surface, stop the connection to the surface, delve inside. And when we delve inside, we don't have to struggle to cool ourselves at night. Yoga is not standing on the head, nor standing on one foot. It rather tells us, discover the self, discover your serenity, discover your inner balance. You'll live a life in peace and will not be living a life in pieces. Just remember the difference. We live a life with more peace, higher levels of peace, and not a life in pieces. So that I just hope that has given you some insight on how yoga leads us to inner peace. So let's resolve to spend 2-3 minutes early in the morning when we wake up, sit down on the bed and say thanks to the creation and to the creator for the new day we are seeing. Be thankful to our parents, to our teachers and everything for leading us in life. And then again in the night when we are cooling down to sleep, let's spend 2-3 minutes again for introspection and again a word of thanks to everybody who's played a role in our life. Gratitude makes us humble, makes us grow on the learning curve, and will bring us more peace. So I'll end here with a word of thanks to all those who's been involved in the 10-11 days program on yoga. I don't know, I may have repeated a few of the subjects which has been covered by previous speakers. But as we say in the philosophy, punaravritti, repeating is just to lay emphasis. And I don't claim to have exclusive knowledge of yoga, because this is a knowledge transmitted to us by rishis, by seers of yoga. Still much to know, but thank you for giving me the opportunity to be with you, to share the knowledge, to share some of the experiences. Wish you all well, and I'll leave the floor for questions now.
Thank you very much, sir. It was a great session and a very informative session. I can see the excitement of the audience at the chat box, and I hope that we get a lot of questions. So we are having a few questions, sir. The first question is,
Yes,
sir,
please.
it is for the students. Sir, okay. Sir, the question is like that. How can a student increase their concentration power through yoga?
One, yoga it promotes your health, physical health. Then second thing which we have to learn too is silencing ourselves. Sitting down. Look, Maharishi Patanjali defines asana as sthir sukham asanam. Learn to sit down in one posture, whether it be on the chair or down, sukhasana, padmasana, or any simple posture where you don't fall asleep. So that's why I don't recommend Savasana. Savasana is good for relaxation, but to be focused, learn to sit down at one place for a long time. And then close your eyes, see within yourself. And when we start focusing, don't take external objects as your dharana, your point of focus. Try to go inside, because after pranayam is pratyahar, it tells you delve inside. So dharana, if you start by taking long deep breathing, inhale and exhale, and focus on that process of air going in and out of the nostrils, the inhale and exhale, and long inhale and long exhale, and be aware, be mindful of the process of inhale and exhale. When you start inhaling, it's always your belly which will go out, and when your belly goes out, then you inflate the lungs and then push the shoulders slightly up. So that's a free-fall process of inhale. And when you push your shoulders up, you may start feeling the air flowing into your mind. So you're giving more oxygen to your brain, you're augmenting your brain usage. And it's good because when you start long inhale and exhale, you're controlling your breath. So your mind is focused there, and you're giving increased supply of air to the lungs and increased oxygen to the mind. So the mind activity will unfold, the lungs activity will unfold, and at the same time, by focusing on the inhale and exhale, you are building your dharma, the point of focus. So whenever you go to your studies, now you have to forget about the whole world. You start by slow, gradual inhale and exhale, bring your focus, and then take the plunge in your studies. I think that should be able to help you. This is what we've been doing in life and in anything that we do. That's why when I start, I always tell people sit down straight, do some deep inhale and exhale, trying to bring the focus. And I think it works in all fields of life. Next, please.
Thank you very much, sir, for the answer. So the next question is related to yoga. Is that is there any time period that we should do yoga, that is in the morning or in the night? Is there any kind of thing?
You know, the yoga, as far as it concerns the physical exercises, it's good to set your schedule according to what best fits you. So if you're having a more or less regulated schedule, so you can do it morning and afternoon. But remember, when you're doing physical exercise, it should be always having no food or drinks for the past 2 hours, so that you don't suffer adverse effects. Even when you are doing pranayam, it's always recommended not to do pranayam within 2 hours after having food and drinks. So it's more or less on empty stomach. So for those who have late night classes, etc., you'll have to adjust your timetable. But it's good to start like Surya Namaskar, the bundle of 12 exercises synchronized. As it says Surya Namaskar, it's good to do it at sunrise and sunset. Because when you'll be standing in front of the sunrise and the sunset, And remember, Surya ke jo tirche kirane hote hain na, at sunrise and sunset, it's always at angles. And this is where even modern science acknowledge that facing the sun at sunset and sunrise enables us to produce natural vitamin A and D. So that boosts our immunity, tonifies our body, our energy. So that would be my recommendation to that. Otherwise, if you're busy in other activities, like for those who are having late classes or have other commitments, then you adjust accordingly. But the best would be that.
Thank you very
Yes, please.
much for the answer. And the next question is related to the self discipline, sir. Like I already asked you about the concentration regarding the students. So the students also want to know about the
Yeah.
self discipline.
So self-discipline, I think it's good to learn what is there in yama and niyama. So if we start implementing yama and niyama in our personal life, okay, we may find it difficult. But as I said, look at, I always use the example of that gentleman, Usain Bolt, running the 100 meters race. Practicing for 4 years, morning, evening, and afternoon, running the race probably a million times before he runs into the Olympic and gets the medals. So we have to be like that. We have to be, as we say, dogged, steady in our practice, with lots of love, with lots of dedication, passion. And that is the Yoga Sutra, as I said, Satodar Kale Nairantara Satkara Savetodare. There's no other formula to that. Even if you go to the courses online by Deepak Chopra and the other prominent personal development experts, they will teach you the same thing. Only thing that they'll bundle it in another way, and then they'll charge you the price for that. And this is the simple knowledge given to us by Maharishi Patanjali. I will say, let's nurture the roots to be able to make the seed germinate, grow into a full, healthy tree with a healthy trunk, smart branches, a beautiful crown of leaves and flowers, which will yield the good fruits. So for that, we have to nurture the roots, and let's start by learning yama and niyama, applying them in life, and be constant, be dedicated to the practice. Next, please.
Thank you very much, sir. That's all from the question. And thank you very much, sir, for joining us in this session. And I hope that we will do this kind of session in the coming future.
I will just give you an analogy of, if you find it hard to focus in life as a student, probably you will remember the episode of when Arjun had to shoot the arrow into the eye of a fish. Arjun was known as a good archer, good in archery. But then looking at the reflection in water, we all know the surface level of water is not that clear because it's always moving. Looking into that, and the fish was revolving. That was a wooden fish on something which was rotating up. Looking at that, he shot up the arrows, and that went direct to the target. It's not a question that he practiced it previously, but he practiced his archery well for a long period of time. So if we take that, as I said during the first part, when he was in doubt, he just went into the middle of the battlefield, seek the guidance from Sri Krishna, and this is what came to be known as the Gita now. And then when he had the episode of shooting the fish eye, that practice of the archery came into effect. And so many episodes also, like when Arjun and Duryodhan goes to Sri Krishna for help before the war, Arjun was seated at the feet and Duryodhan was seated at the head. And when Duryodhan came and saw Arjun seated at the feet, he said, "This fellow is only due to be seated at the feet. I will sit at the head because I am superior." But then he forgot that when someone wakes up from sleep, the first thing when his eyes open is to see the side where the feet are, not by the side of the head. So that was avidya in operation for Duryodhan. And for Arjun, it was complete, total surrender to the good cause. So we have to surrender ourselves to the good cause. We are students, we have a target to learn to read and everything. So let's keep this focus. I don't say you shouldn't have leisure time. It's good to have leisure time to just decompress, but leisure shouldn't be the priority. So like for Duryodhan, winning the war was a priority because he didn't want to share the kingdom with others. So the goal itself was wrong. But for Arjun was to fight for righteousness. So the goal was right, and he sat on the proper side, and Duryodhan was on the wrong side. So let's be like Arjun and not like Duryodhan in our choices. Then, any?
Thank you, sir. Thank you for such a great answer, sir. I hope the audience will clear all the doubts, sir. Thank you very much, sir, for joining in this session. And it's our pleasure to have such you in our session, sir. Great pleasure, sir. Great. We are all very much pleasure to have you in this session. Thank you for joining us, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
So thank you, everybody. If you have any doubt, you can reach to me on Hindu Center of Atlanta on Facebook, or by email, Hindu Center of Atlanta as one word, Hindu Center of Atlanta at gmail.com, or reach me on Facebook Messenger. Or you can also send me message on my personal Facebook account. It's Acharya Bramdeo as it is written. So if you Google search that, you will find it. And I'll be happy to answer your doubts and hope that gives you some insight for self-empowerment to be better people in life. Yes,
Thank you,
one
sir.
should be.
Thank you so much.